Good morning and namaste to everyone. We are reading this book, The Untethered Soul by Michael Singer. So if you have the book, you want to follow, or if you want to just listen to me, that's fine too. So, chapter 1, The Voice Inside Your Head. So after each chapter, we will just spend some time discussing it and see what we get out of it. Okay, so that will be the format for this reading. So it goes like, shoot, I can't remember her name. What is her name? Darn, here she comes. What is it, Sally? Sue? She just told me yesterday. What's the matter with me? This is going to be embarrassing. In case you haven't noticed, you have a mental dialogue going on inside your head that never stops. It just keeps going and going. Have you ever wondered why it talks in there? How does it decide what to say and when to say it? How much of what it says it turns out to be true? How much of what it says is even important? And if right now you are hearing, I don't know what you're talking about, I don't have any voice inside my head, that is the voice we are talking about. If you're smart, you will take the time to step back, examine this voice, and get to know it better. The problem is you are too close to be objective. You have to step way back and watch it converse. While you are driving, you hear internal conversations like, wasn't I supposed to call Fred? I should have. Oh my God, I can't believe I forgot. He's going to be so mad. He may never talk to me again. Maybe I should stop and call him right now. No, I don't want to stop the car right now. Notice that the voice takes both sides of the conversation. It doesn't care which side it takes, just as long as it gets to keep on talking. When you are tired and trying to sleep, it is the voice inside your head that says, what am I doing? I can't go to sleep yet. I forgot to call Fred. I remembered in the car, but I didn't call. If I don't call now, oh wait, it's too late. I shouldn't call him now. I don't even know why I thought about it. I need to fall asleep. Oh shoot, now I can't fall asleep. I'm not tired anymore. But I have a big day tomorrow and I have to get up early. No wonder you can't sleep. Why do you even tolerate that voice talking to you all the time? Even if what it's saying is soothing and nice, it is still disturbing everything you are doing. If you spend some time observing this mental voice, the first thing you will notice is that it never shuts up. When left to its own, it just talks. Imagine if you were to see someone walking around constantly talking to himself, you would think he was strange. You would wonder if he's the one who's talking and he's the one who's listening. He obviously knows what's going to be said before he says it. So, what is the point? The same is true for the voice inside your head. Why is it talking? It's you who's talking and it's you who would be listening. And when the voice argues with itself, who is it arguing with? Who could possibly win? It gets very confusing. Just listen. I think I should get married. No, you know you are not ready. You'll be sorry. But I love him. Oh, come on. You felt that way about Tom. What if you had married him? If you watch carefully, you will see that it's just trying to find a comfortable place to rest. It will change sides in a moment if that seems to help. And it doesn't even quiet down when it finds out that it's wrong. It simply adjusts its viewpoint and keeps on going. If you pay attention, these mental patterns will become obvious to you. It's actually a shocking realization when you first notice that your mind is constantly talking. You might even try to yell at it in a feeble attempt to shut it up. But then you realize that's the voice yelling at the voice. Shut up. I want to go to sleep. Why do you have to talk all the time? Obviously, you can't shut it up that way. The best way to free yourself from this incessant chatter is to step back and view it objectively. Just view the voice as a vocalizing mechanism that is capable of making it appear like someone is in there talking to you. Don't think about it, just notice it. No matter what the voice is saying, it's all the same. It doesn't matter if it's saying nice things or mean things, worldly things or spiritual things. It doesn't matter because it's still just a voice talking inside your head. In fact, the only way to get you distance from this voice is to stop differentiating what it's saying. Stop feeling that one thing it says is you and the other thing it says it's not you. If you're hearing it talk, it's obviously not you. You are the one who hears the voice. You are the one who notices that it's talking. You do hear it when it talks, don't you? Make it say hello right now. Say it over and over a few times. Now, shout it inside. Can you hear yourself saying hello inside? Of course, you can. There is a voice talking, and there is a you who notices the voice talking. The problem is that it's easy to notice the voice is saying hello, but it's difficult to see that no matter what the voice says, it's still just a voice talking and you listening. There is absolutely nothing that voice can say that is more you than anything else it says. Suppose you were looking at three objects: a flower pot, a photograph, and a book, and were then asked, which of these objects is you? You would say none of them. I'm the one who's looking at what you are putting in front of me. It doesn't matter what you put in front of me, it's always going to be me looking at it. You see, it's an act of a subject perceiving various objects. This is also true of hearing the voice inside. It doesn't make any difference what it's saying. You are the one who's aware of it. As long as you think that one thing it's saying is you, but the other thing it's saying is not you, you have lost your objectivity. You may want to think of yourself as the part that says the nice things, but that is still the voice talking. You may like what it says, but it's not you. There is nothing more important to true growth than realizing that you are not the voice of the mind. You are the one who hears it. If you don't understand this, you will try to figure out which of the many things the voice says is really you. People go through so many changes in the name of trying to find myself. They want to discover which of these voices, which of these aspects of their personality is who they really are. The answer is simple: none of them. If you watch it objectively, you will come to see that much of what the voice says is meaningless. Most of the talking is just a waste of time and energy. The truth is that most of life will unfold in accordance with forces far outside your control, regardless of what your mind says about it. It's like sitting down at night and deciding whether you want the sun to come up in the morning. The bottom line is the sun will come up and the sun will go down. Billions of things are going on in this world. You can think about it all you want, but life is still going to keep on happening. In fact, your thoughts have far less impact on this world than you would like to think. If you're willing to be objective and watch all your thoughts, you will see that the vast majority of them have no relevance. They have no effect on anything or anybody except you. They are simply making you feel better or worse about what is going on now, what has gone on in the past, or what might go on in the future. If you spend your time hoping that it doesn't rain tomorrow, you're wasting your time. Your thoughts don't change the rain. You will someday come to see that there is no use for that incessant internal chatter, and there's no reason to constantly attempt to figure everything out. Eventually, you will see that the real cause of problems is not life itself. It is the commotion the mind makes about life that really causes problems. Now, this raises a serious question. If so much of what the voice says is meaningless and unnecessary, then why does it even exist? The secret to answering this question lies in understanding why it says what it says when it says it. For example, in some cases, the mental voice talks for the same reason that a tea kettle whistles. That is, there's a buildup of energy inside that needs to be released. If you watch objectively, you will see that when there is a buildup of nervous, fearful, or desire based energies inside, the voice becomes extremely active. This is easy to see when you're angry with someone and you feel like telling them off. Just watch how many times the inner voice tells them off before you even see them. When energy builds up inside, you want to do something about it. That voice talks because you are not okay inside, and talking releases energy. You will notice, however, that even when you are not particularly bothered by something, it still talks. When you are walking down the street, it says things like, "Look at the dog. It's a Labrador. Hey, there is another dog in that car. He looks a lot like my first dog, Shadow. Whoa, there is an old Oldsmobile. It's got Alaska plates. You don't see many of those down here." It is actually narrating the world for you. But why do you need this? You already see what's happening outside. How does it help to repeat it to yourself through the mental voice? You should examine this very closely. With a simple glance, you instantly take in the tremendous detail of whatever you are looking at. If you see a tree, you effortlessly see the branches, the leaves, and the flowering buds. Why then do you have to verbalize what you have already seen? Look at that dogwood. The green leaves are so beautiful against the white flowers. Look how many flowers there are. Wow, it is so full. What you will see if you study this carefully is that the narration makes you feel more comfortable with the world around you. Like backseat driving, it makes you feel as though things are more in your control. You actually feel like you have some relationship with them. A tree is no longer just a tree in the world that has nothing to do with you. It is a tree that you saw, labeled, and judged. By verbalizing it mentally, you brought that initial direct experience of the world into the realm of your thoughts. There it becomes integrated with your other thoughts, such as those making up your value system and historical experiences. Take a moment to examine the difference between your experience of the outside world and your interactions with the mental world. When you are just thinking, you are free to create whatever thoughts you want in your mind. And these thoughts are expressed through the voice. You are very accustomed to settling into the playground of the mind and creating and manipulating thoughts. This inner world is an alternate environment that is under your control. The outside world, however, marches to its own laws. When the voice narrates the outside world to you, those thoughts are now side by side, in parity with all your other thoughts. All these thoughts intermix and actually influence your experience of the world around you. What you end up experiencing is really a personal presentation of the world according to you, rather than the stark, unfiltered experience of what is really out there. This mental manipulation of the outer experience allows you to buffer reality as it comes in. For example, there are myriad things that you see at any given moment, yet you only narrate a few of them. The ones you discuss in your mind are the ones that matter to you. With this subtle form of processing, you manage to control the experience of reality so that it all fits together inside your mind. Your consciousness is actually experiencing your mental model of reality, not reality itself. You have to watch this very carefully because you do it all the time. You are walking outside in the winter, you start to shiver, and the voice says, "It's cold." Now, how did that help you? You already knew it was cold. You are the one who is experiencing the cold. Why is it telling you this? You recreate the world within your mind because you can control your mind, whereas you cannot control the world. That is why you mentally talk about it. If you can't get the world the way you like it, you internally verbalize it, judge it, complain about it, and then decide what to do about it. This makes you feel more empowered. When your body experiences cold, there may be nothing you can do to affect the temperature. But when your mind verbalizes it's cold, you can say, "We are almost home. Just a few more minutes." Now you feel better. In the thought world, there's always something you can do to control the experience. Basically, you recreate the outside world inside yourself, and then you live in your mind. What if you decided not to do this? If you decide not to narrate and instead just consciously observe the world, you will feel more open and exposed. This is because you really don't know what will happen next, and your mind is accustomed to helping you. It does this by processing your current experiences in a way that makes them fit with your view of the past and visions of the future. All of this helps to create a semblance of control. If your mind doesn't do this, you simply become too uncomfortable. Reality is just too real for most of us, so we temper it with the mind. You will come to see that the mind talks all the time because you gave it a job to do. You use it as a protection mechanism, a form of defense. Ultimately, it makes you feel more secure. As long as that's what you want, you will be forced to constantly use your mind to buffer yourself from life instead of living it. This world is unfolding and really has very little to do with you or your thoughts. It was here long before you came, and it will be here long after you leave. In the name of attempting to hold the world together, you are really just trying to hold yourself together. True personal growth is about transcending the part of you that is not okay and needs protection. This is done by constantly remembering that you are the one inside that notices the voice talking. That is the way out. The one out inside who is aware that you are always talking to yourself about yourself is always silent. It is a doorway to the depths of your being. To be aware that you are watching the voice talk is to stand on the threshold of a fantastic inner journey. If used properly, the same mental voice that has been a source of worry, distraction, and general neurosis can become the launching ground for true spiritual awakening. Come to know the one who watches the voice, and you will come to know one of the great mysteries of creation. Okay, this is the end of this first chapter. So, any thoughts? Okay, watching the watcher, getting in touch with that listener instead of the voice. So, as he said, we all do it. We all do it. But we have to just make a shift. Okay. So, no question, no comment?
Yes, one comment, Harshji.
Yes,
last time when we read it, I didn't think I needed to underline I don't know why I think I'm underlining the whole page this time.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, because when you underline, that means that, yeah, it made a little impact.
Who knows?
Right? Yeah. Yeah.
Harji,
Yes.
in the last three sentences, it says, if used properly, the same mental voice has been a source of worry, distraction, and general neurosis, has become a launching ground for spiritual awakening. Now, why does it put it to the extent of calling it neurosis? इतना कौन सा ये mental problem बन गया?
Because neurosis is a mental disease. Because when we don't watch this mind of ours, this instrument of ours, then it will take us to the neurosis also. Okay, not just a simple worry and the anxiety, but it will. So he's just bringing our attention to it. That this particular equipment of ours or particular way of thinking can slide us down to the extreme also. And our rishis said the same thing. Maneva manushya nam karnam bandhu moksha. This mind is the one which can help us to attain liberation. And at the same time, the same mind, if we don't control it, it can take us towards the hellish hell. So neurosis is a hell, a living hell. Okay, so mind. Okay, so equipment, as long as we remember that this is the equipment for a purpose, then we'll learn how to use it. So this is what he says even in the next line. To know the one who watches the voice. Okay? And you will come to know one of the great mysteries of creation. Very powerful sentence. Who's watching that? Because not we don't voice is going on constantly. We just don't even pay attention to the watcher, the listener. Okay. So, but good observation, Urmil. Yeah, neurosis. I know we don't like to hear these words. But among us or inside us also, there are some of our actions, they fall in that category.
Yeah, I had read a few pages ahead of time, and then I went and studied this neurosis and neurotic behavior and the neurosic and everything about neurosis.
Yeah.
And I thought suddenly as if he is taking us too far. And then I started to really study this neurosis business and the spiritual awakening as if it was an antidote to the neurotic or the neurosis behaviors. So, launching ground for true spiritual awakening. So I'm looking forward to, I did read the few chapters, and what I found was that it is very systematically analyzing step for step. It's like a arithmetic or a geometry where you try to solve a problem QED, and hence we can't afford to lose even few lines. Like sometimes I used to listen to you while I'm doing other piddly things, but now I realize I just have to sit and read before you and after you and during you are reading, because this book is making a lot of sense, but it has to be very seriously done step for step. And I'd rather see you do it for us slowly, but pick up those summary, those points, and we get it.
Yeah.
That's how I feel about the introduction, that whatever I have read about this book so far.
Yeah, no, you're right. It's a very deep book. That's why Poonam is saying the first time when she read it, she just read through it. But today when she's rereading it or re-listening it, she's underlining it. That's what happens. And underlining doesn't stay there. Then you revisit it. Okay, because and ultimately, see, that's why our rishis, what did this say about a serious student? 3 stages, 3 steps of learning. Shravan, Manan, Nididhyasan. Right? So first we read it or hear it, then we reflect upon it. So just like Urmil, you're saying that, yeah, before the class and after the class, when you're reading and rereading, you're reflecting upon it. You're making it, bringing a seriousness about the studies. And then when you're convinced, then you start practicing.
Yeah, because this is the same thing we read in Bhagavad Gita and all the other spiritual books about getting to the Atma. But because it is very analytical and done in a very different English, I really like this book, but I really need to understand it
Sure.
inch for inch,
Sure, definitely.
mathematically. I want
I'll
to
try to
understand.
read a little slowly also.
No, no,
Maybe
no. You can read, but we can discuss.
yeah, we should definitely discuss. Definitely. Yeah. No, no, no. I'll give you guys enough time to talk, ask questions, or give your input. That's very important. Yes. So in today's first chapter, what did we learn actually?
Hershey, what I understood from this first chapter is that he's trying to tell us from that last line that in the depth of your silence will you find the core within, that you will find yourself within. That means we have to learn to be as silent as possible. Not as silent as possible, totally silent, because there is so much talk and chatter outside as well as inside ourselves.
Yeah, but to me, I think that before we even, we cannot wait for the complete silence.
That's what we have to practice, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's why even before that, even this mind is chattering.
Yeah.
There's a chatter outside also.
Yes.
Just take a pause, pay attention to the listener. Silence, we cannot just say that when it's completely silent, then I'll know myself. We can know ourselves even among the chattering also.
I'm talking of chatter from yourself on the outside and from yourself on the inside, not anybody outside of
Yeah,
you.
even inside chattering is happening. And
Yeah.
then just reflect upon it. Who is listening to that chattering?
Right. Right.
So it's like when you make a little a distinction between the listener and the chatterer. Mind is chattering, Atma is listening. So that means you are putting a little pause there and you are finding yourself also. Complete silence will happen way later on. But first, this step is needed. Okay? So,
Archie, I wanted to tell you something. After I
sure.
had read this book many years ago, uh, sometimes I catch myself not having very positive thoughts about a situation. So the negative used to come, and I would always get worried about it. Like, why is my mind coming with this negative? But now I can walk away from it by just saying it's just a chatter. So I think I think his saying it made all the difference, because now I don't sweat about it. Oh, maybe I'm walking the wrong path. This negativity is coming. This and that. I don't do that to myself anymore.
Yeah.
I just say, oh, this is mind chattering. Okay, do your job. I'm not paying attention. So
Yeah.
I think that his words made all the difference, even though we read so much. But I think that I held on to those words.
Yeah.
So I think whatever you can get, hang on to.
Yeah. No, no, no. That is true. Another thing, a lot of people think that, oh, I thought this way and that's why it happened. Right? Then they start just cursing themselves. No, things gonna happen the way they're gonna happen. See, just like he gave the example, weather gonna be like this the way it's gonna be. Your wishing and willing and worrying is not gonna change it. Okay? So when we really understand and practice what he's saying, or practice what Lord Krishna is saying in Gita, what happens is you really start living properly. That's where the peace is coming from. Okay? So never forget who you are. That's all he is saying. Because we have made ourselves into what we are doing, what we are thinking, what we are talking, internally or externally. No. We are the Atma, the soul, part of Paramatma. Pay attention to that. Okay. Looks like Pooja has a question. Pooja?
Yeah, like what I experience is that when it's like sometimes external things happen and then that
Can you get little closer to your laptop? Can't
Yes.
hear you properly.
sometimes external things happen, whether it's like conversations with other people that trigger you, and then it causes more chatter, like a spiral of chatter. And what I experienced to me is that this is one of the most depleting things for me energetically. then I feel really burnt out and I have to either like take a nap or meditate to replenish myself. Do you have any thoughts on this? Because like I experienced that this morning, and literally after this call, I'm going to meditate. Even though I meditated in the morning, I'm going to meditate again because I need to clear like that energy from myself. Is there anything that you can recommend around this? Because, or is it just noticing that, like how Punamanti said, that's just chatter?
Yeah.
That's not.
See, for meditation, sometimes you really cannot meditate. You don't have time.
Yeah,
You
that's
are in the busy schedule of the day, especially in your age. You cannot do that. So what you need to do is just tell your mind instantly, this is all in the outer world happening. Why do I need to take it inside?
because it literally goes into my body. Like
Yeah, I know, but that you should control by telling your mind that it is outside, it's not inside me. It's almost like if there is a dust storm outside.
yeah, okay.
We'll close our windows. We'll take precautions the same way. If you are in a negative energy outside, first of all, we are judging it, whether it's a negative or positive. It is just an energy. See, energy is never negative or positive. We give the color to it. See, just like electricity, energy, it's not positive or negative. It is just energy. What do we use with it? What do we do with it? So stop judging, stop thinking that negative energy.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't have any business of judging somebody else.
Okay, that sounds
They
good.
are doing what they are supposed to do, and we got to do what we are supposed to do. Do
Okay.
our duties properly without looking at the result, without being so obsessed about the result. That doesn't mean that we should not do our duties properly. And part of our mind should be connected with God all the time. That's all. Because if you are judging others that they have a negative energy, then we are connecting our mind to the negativity. So we got to be very watchful of that. Okay? So more work on ourselves.
Yeah.
Without any judgment towards anybody or any situation. It is what it is. I am responsible for my thoughts, my actions, my words, my life. And we got to just constantly be aware of that. Okay?
Yeah. Sometimes when you start saying, okay, what happens in my mind is like when you receive the message like, oh, we have to judge less, then I start judging myself or being hard on myself.
No, you got to watch that also, because then you got to remember I am part of God.
Okay.
Okay. So this is a work you need to do with your mind. Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. Never be hard on yourself. No. See, when Rishi Patanjali talked about non-violence, first he said, be non-violent with yourself. Ahimsa starts from yourself. Okay. So no judgment like that towards you. It's okay. We are polishing ourselves. We are cleaning our mind. And we are learning how to live like a yogi or a saint or even a good human being, whatever we're going to call ourselves. Okay. Yes, Urmil.
Unmute yourself.
Unmute, please.
Another thing I got from this chapter was excessive energy. And especially for many of us and our spouses who have now retired, many of my friends, I've heard them say, my husband talks nonstop all day. You know, it is because now they have so much energy that they have channelized it into many hobbies and this and that and all that. But still, it is now with the same thing with the ladies. They're constantly doing crazy things or whatever because there's so much excess energy or chatter with themselves. So channelizing the energy in a positive way, not necessarily only spiritual, I think is a key to this stopping this voice and forget about it and use your energy in a better way.
Yeah, stay busy. Stay busy. Help somebody or any kind of a. When you were working full time, I'm sure there were some things, some talents you have, you really could not pursue. Pursue those. It could be singing, it could be writing. See, like Poonam, we are asking her to sing in Sanskrit. I'm sure she spends hours and hours practicing it. And Urmil, how many hours you spend writing
I'm
and
not telling.
rewriting poetry? So we all have some kind of a talent. We should do it. This is the time. That's why it's called a golden years. Because we have learned a lot. We have done our basic things in life. Now is the time to really polish by doing some seva, going outside the box right now. Jyoti wants to say something.
Yeah. Would it ever stop chattering? The mind of the chattering would ever stop? It's always there.
Yeah, no, it will stop. It's not that it won't stop. It's almost like if two people are talking, if a person they respect, elderly person, wise person, teacher, guru, somebody comes in the room, what happens? They'll stop talking out of respect. Okay, so this is what happens when that divine light of ours we get familiar with, this chattering stops. Anybody say mind is having too much internal chattering? That means there's a lot of cloudiness inside. So that's why more job, more selfless service, more doing something just like Urmil and Poonam, they are doing, Jyoti is doing. I'm sure Jyoti doesn't have time for internal chattering. So when you're doing something like that, see, we are born with, this morning I was teaching Gina, the last chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Over there, you have all studied that we are born with certain sanskars, certain vasanas, we are all born with from the past lives. And then we are born into certain environment. So whatever we are born with, we are supposed to wash those away. So that's what we need to do. If we have not done it in the last 5, 6, 7 decades, right now is the time to do it. Instead of just learning something new which we don't have any vasana for, clean the old vasanas. Like if I don't have any inclination or any talent about painting, and I think, no, I should paint now because Neeta does such a good job, that will be adding more. I always love to teach yoga. That is, I was born with. So there's a born with and born into. Be careful what you are born into. But at this stage, get rid of these old vasanas you came with. And once you do that, you will see that light of the divine will shine and chattering will stop. All the great inventions happened when there was no chattering in the mind. All of them. I'm sure even now when you are trying to sleep, sometimes that bright thought comes. That is not from the chattering. Okay? We all go through this. We got to pay more attention to it. And we don't want to accept that mind will always chatter. No. Mind is my servant. I got to make sure that mind doesn't chatter unnecessarily. Sure, it needs to chatter here and there. When I tell it to chatter, only then it should chatter. Otherwise, it should be shush. We got to train our mind. Okay? Is that clear, Jyoti? Thank you.
Shall I say something?
Yes, yes, Samita.
Sorry. If you occupy your mind in doing whatever you are doing, always think about God. Why I'm eating? Why I'm walking? Because I want to keep myself healthy so that I can worship God. Pray God more and more. So this happens. Shattering is a very common thing. But with me, with my experience, my chattering has come down. It is very, very less because I'm thinking many times, why I'm doing it, and if you occupy yourself, like, Urmil, she's doing her such a wonderful work. So think, God, you have given me the capacity to do service to you. And that reduce, I'm not saying everybody should do that. This is a very common thing, very common. But when you occupy your mind more and more about thoughts of God, it will reduce slowly. I have taken years to come to this level. So
Yeah,
don't
thank
get discouraged. Don't get discouraged. It will happen. It
Yeah.
will happen.
Yeah, thank you, Samitaji. So now, if there's no question, comment, I think Poonam, today is your day.
I have one little question.
Yes, Jyoti.
You said that the family we are born into. So do we, the like the family that we're born into, do we take their help into, is there a reason? There is a reason why we're born into that family. So is there that we have to use their help to, clean our slate?
Only thing we need to do is detach from them.
Oh, that's the learning lesson. Okay.
Keep doing your duties, because if we stay mentally attached, we will come back into that family again.
Okay, got it.
Unless you want to, that's fine. Choice is ours. Do we want to get attached to God? Or do we just want to stay attached to our family, like calling our family? Because in our Aarti, we say, you are my father, you are my brother, you are my mother, you are my everything. You are my wealth also, you are my knowledge also.
Okay.
Towards the family, only the duty, that's it, no attachment.
Only the duty, okay.
No attachment. So even the doing the duty also for the sake of doing duty, not getting attached. In the mind, God, and with the hands or with the money, whatever we need to do, we should do it. They should not be in our mind.
Okay.
That is the sadhana we need to do. Okay?
Thank you.
Yeah. Yes, Prem, you have a question?
Hanji, namaskar ji.
Namaskar.
Actually, I need clarification. You mentioned something about, of course, we are born with certain inclinations, and then we are born into certain families.
Mm-hmm.
And then you said something about adding on new, for example, hobbies, like if someone wants to learn piano.
Right. When
Is
we
that a
add
good
something new, you're still asking. Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
Is that a good thing to do? I mean, if I want to add something good into it, supposing I want to add a learn piano, I don't have the inclination, but I felt like, oh, it'll be nice to learn piano. Is this something I'm doing good to myself, or am I just adding on to some?
In my opinion, you are just cluttering your thoughts.
Okay.
Okay. It's almost like if in my house, I have enough furniture, a bed to sleep on, a chair to sit on, a table to put my things on. But I see somebody else's house, I go there and they have something different. and I buy that and bring it into. No matter how beautiful it is, what am I doing? Cluttering my own house. There are a lot of good things. Good and bad is relative. Okay.
So,
it's
am I understanding correctly then? There is no need to add on to your hobbies, just work with what you have. Is that what you're saying, Hersh?
yes, after certain age, definitely. After
Okay.
the age of 50, start cleaning up.
Okay.
After the age of 70, 75, do more pruning.
Okay.
Learn something or do something which will show this light which is already inside more clearly. Okay.
And learn something.
Something means if at that time, sure, seva we need to do.
Yes.
We should make sure that we are in the company of good people. Meditation we do, jap we do, prayers we do. Those are the things which will help us to see who we are. But if we go outside and learn piano or learn singing or learn this or that, what will happen? We will get more involved into these worldly things.
So don't busy yourself with new things. Just develop
Yes.
some good things that you already are aware
Yes.
of and know
Yes.
about. Just develop those.
Yeah, very natural things which we already know, and there's a plenty. There's a plenty we have learned by that age.
Yeah, I just wanted to be clear what you had said.
Is it clear now, Prem?
It is.
Okay.
But some people have no aptitude towards spiritualism. So for them, do what hobbies they have and be happy. What should we do to them? Some people have no inclination.
Yeah, they can do whatever they want to. I'm talking about the serious students like you. Okay, these anybody who wants to get liberated after this life, these hints are for those, because most of the people are not like that. Most of the people, they say after retirement, we want to travel, we want to enjoy, we want to meet people, we want to do this, do that. No, what I'm talking about, it is for a person who wants to reach the ultimate goal right here, right now. I'm talking about that person.
Okay.
Detachment.
And on one hand, you talk of detachment.
People keep on attaching and attaching and attaching.
But how do I continue to have the will to live if I'm not attached? If I have to be attached to something to give me the will to live, otherwise I am losing my will to live. So I say, kya hai? Then I say, no, I have to, I want to be alive till my husband is, so I can do my duty to him, and attachment. And then I have to have the will to live if, this or that. So how do I attach and detach and have the will to live?
Okay, this will to live, the rishis, why did they do yoga? Why did they come up with all these techniques so that you can live longer? What was the reason? It's not that they wanted to enjoy these worldly things. They wanted to live longer. The will came from that I want to clean up my chit. The longer I live, more time I have to clean up this sack of mine, which is filled with vasanas. That is the reason we need to live longer. Not that I want to travel more, I want to eat more, I want to visit more, I want to have more relatives, I want to have this or that. No, none of that. Because all that adds more to the sack. I want to empty my sack now. Karmashya. Ashya means a sack full of desires. Okay, so that's where the will to live longer.
Good, very good answer. Thank you.
Gosh, thank you, Urmil.
Totally agree with you, Harshji. Totally agree.
Yeah, no, living longer is not a problem. Living longer for what?
Agree with you, Hershey. It's
Good.
too
I'm
good an
glad.
answer.
Anybody else? See, you guys are, I'm so proud to have students like you, actually.
Yeah.
Really. I'm not just saying it for the sake of saying. You all so, um, I mean, every day with you've got a commitment to come to the classes on time, pay attention, take notes, want to learn whatever I teach you. Nobody says, don't teach this. Whatever I teach, you say, okay, all right, we're going to learn. It's really good. Thank you. Thank you very much. So, Poonam,
Thank you, Hershey.
Namaste, Harshji.
namaste. Namaste.
All right. मके गया गल मुकदी नाही, मके गया गल मुकदी नाही, चाहे 100 जुम्मे पढ़ाइए, गंगा गया गल मुकदी नाही, चाहे 100 गोते खाइए, गया गया गल मुकदी नाही, चाहे 100 पंड पढ़ाइए, बुल्ले शाह गल ताइयों मुकदी, ਜਦੋਂ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਦਿਲੋਂ ਮੁਕਾਈਏ, ਪੜ ਪੜ ਇਲਮ ਹਜ਼ਾਰ ਕਿਤਾਬਾਂ, ਕਦੀ ਆਪਣੇ ਆਪ ਨੂੰ ਪੜਿਆ ਹੀ ਨਹੀਂ, ਜਾ ਜਾ ਵੜਨਾ ਮੰਦਰ ਮਸੀਤੀ, ਕਦੀ ਦਿਲ ਆਪਣੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਵੜਿਆ ਹੀ ਨਹੀਂ, ਐਵੇਂ ਹੀ ਰੋਜ਼ ਸ਼ੈਤਾਨ ਨਾਲ ਲੜਨਾ, ਕਦੀ ਨਫਸ ਆਪਣੇ ਨਾਲ ਲੜਿਆ ਹੀ ਨਹੀਂ, ਬੁੱਲੇ ਸ਼ਾਹ ਅਸਮਾਨੀਆਂ ਫੜਨਾ, ਜਿਹੜਾ ਘਰ ਬੈਠਾ ਉਹਨੂੰ ਫੜਿਆ ਹੀ ਨਹੀਂ, ਸਿਰ ਤੇ ਟੋਪੀ ਤੇ ਨੀਅਤ ਖੋਟੀ, ਲੈਣਾ ਕੀ ਟੋਪੀ ਸਿਰ ਧਰ ਕੇ, ਤਸਬੀਹ ਫਿਰੀ ਪਰ ਰੱਬ ਨਹੀਂ ਮਿਲਿਆ, ਲੈਣਾ ਕੀ ਤਸਬੀਹ ਹੱਥ ਫੜ ਕੇ, ਚਿੱਲੇ ਕੀਤੇ ਪਰ ਦਿਲ ਨਹੀਂ ਬਦਲਿਆ, ਲੈਣਾ ਕੀ ਚਿਲਿਆਂ ਵਿੱਚ ਵੜ ਕੇ, ਬੁੱਲੇ ਸ਼ਾਹ ਜਾਗ ਬਿਨਾ ਦੁੱਧ ਨਹੀਂ ਕੱਢਦਾ, ਭਾਵੇਂ ਲਾਲ ਹੋਵੇ ਕੜ ਕੜ ਕੇ, ਨੀ ਮੈਂ ਜਾਣਾ ਜੋਗੀ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ, ਨੀ ਮੈਂ ਜਾਣਾ ਜੋਗੀ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ, ਨੀ ਮੈਂ ਜਾਣਾ ਜੋਗੀ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ, ਕੰਨੀ ਮੁੰਦਰਾਂ ਪਾ ਕੇ ਮੱਥੇ ਤਿਲਕ ਲਗਾ ਕੇ, ਨੀ ਮੈਂ ਜਾਣਾ ਜੋਗੀ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ, ਐ ਜੋਗੀ ਮੇਰੇ ਮਨ ਵਿੱਚ ਵਸਿਆ, ਐ ਜੋਗੀ ਮੇਰਾ ਜੂੜਾ ਕੱਸਿਆ, ਸੱਚ ਆਖਾਂ ਮੈਂ ਕਸਮ ਕੁਰਾਨੇ, ਜੋਗੀ ਮੇਰਾ ਦੀਨ ਮਾਨੇ, ਜੋਗੀ ਮੇਰੇ ਨਾਲ ਨਾਲ ਤੇ ਮੈਂ ਜੋਗੀ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਨਾਲ, ਜੋਗੀ ਮੇਰੇ ਨਾਲ ਨਾਲ ਤੇ ਮੈਂ ਜੋਗੀ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਨਾਲ, ਕੋਈ ਕਿਸੇ ਨਾਲ ਜੁੜਿਆ ਕੋਈ ਕਿਸੇ ਨਾਲ ਜੁੜਿਆ, ਪਰ ਮੈਂ ਜੋਗੀ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਨਾਲ ਤੇ ਮੈਂ ਜੋਗੀ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਨਾਲ, ਜੋਗੀ ਮੇਰੇ ਨਾਲ ਨਾਲ ਤੇ ਮੈਂ ਜੋਗੀ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਨਾਲ। Thank you.
Very good, Poonam.